All right, second turn, second bite at the apple is what they say, right?
Yeah.
Hey, so let me ask you this: Are you into movies, like movie theaters?
Um, I like movies. Not. I like probably not totally. I like the Newsies growing up.
The
Was that one?
Newsies.
Yeah.
Wow, I do remember the Newsies, but that's
Uh,
not at
uh,
all recent. Okay,
no. Um,
okay.
I'm more of like a Star Wars person. I don't know.
So Star Wars the movie or Star Wars like TV shows?
The movie.
Okay. Did you like all of the episodes as they were unfolding? All the
Yes.
TVs. Okay, so episode I'm a Star Wars fan too, so now we're gonna geek out. So episode 5, 6, 7, no 4, 4, 5, 6 came out
Yep.
first, right?
Yep.
Loved
Yep. Yep.
it. If we were to watch it today, we'd be like, wow, that is strangely odd to watch.
Welcome to Fathernetics, Fatherhood Unfiltered. I'm Jamil. Welcome to the podcast.
Do it. You can never find somebody do it like me. I'ma turn it all the way up cause it kamikaze. Go ahead and try, baby, you are gonna see that you'll never ever find somebody do it like me.
Yeah.
I tried to get my kid to watch it, and he's like, what are we watching? And then right thereafter was 1, 2, 3. I have mixed feelings about 1. I did like 2 and 3.
Yep.
1 is the one with Jar Jar Binks in it, which, everybody and her mom had issues with, and I can see why.
Yeah.
What did you think
Uh,
about that?
Yeah. I guess it was a little slow, that movie, and yeah, I guess I did it. It was the excitement that nothing's been released for a while, so it was kind of
Exactly.
like new, and so I think it was still fun. And there was so much for them to screw up, and I think they didn't screw it up too bad.
You
Um,
know what? I would agree. It was a good revamp. What I will tell you is I do like that Disney has purchased Lucasfilms and what they're doing with it now, with all the animated features that have come out, all the new theatrical releases that have come out, all the storylines like um uh with the
like
um
I love Ray.
Andor. I like Andor. I
Oh,
like
Andor.
Ray. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a little bit more of the story that we all wanted to get in the beginning of all these different characters and how they came to be. I love that. Now, do we want to see more movies? Sure. I love movies. I'm a Star Trek fan as well.
yep.
A lot of people tend to be one or the other, not both. The reason I
I,
bring that up is because we've always had a life, right? We're dads today. We've had lives before. We were humans before we were dads. Believe it or not. So there are all these little cool things that we used to do before we had to make those big life adjustments. And I think movies is fun now that things are changing a little bit. Movies might be a little bit different. Okay, so what about theater arts? Are you big into theater arts?
not not so much. I mean, I'm right near Broadway, and so I have a
Shame
lot
on
of
you
it.
if you say no.
I know it is a shame, and I feel like I'm always hearing about these great shows right before they close, and then I'm like, oh,
It's too
but
late.
so I would say I'm a critic. Like I'm more like I've been to a lot that I don't love. I love Wicked. I loved Hamilton.
Okay,
So
let's go the other way. Which ones do you not like?
um, I think if they're too like music theater, like then I get turned off. I like stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I want a story. I want a plot line. And I like humor. Like I really liked Book of Mormon. Like I thought that was hilarious.
Oh, that was fantastic. I saw that in LA and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I didn't know what I was walking into, to be quite honest. I'd heard about it, you read about it, but then you watch it and you're like, okay, yeah, this was legit.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not doing as much of that as I should. I'm for most of my 30s, I'm super old now, 45, and I
I'm
was
45. We're
yeah,
not super old. Come on. Come on.
yeah. I I'm very much a triathlete, cyclist, runner
Yep.
person, and so that's where most of my time and energy, um, and then I love live music, like all sort of live music,
Is it
and
concerts or like live band type situation?
both.
Okay.
And so, like this year, I went to Gaga, um, Dua Lipa, and then Chapel Roan
Okay,
in New
you are
York.
proper gay. Congratulations.
So I hit all the, and I just thought they were all so different and so awesome. So, but that's would be more of my preference than going to Broadway.
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. So you mentioned triathlons and Ironman, which I think you've done before. How before we get into like how that all works out, what started that? Like, I'm always thinking in my mind, like I struggle with like going to the gym on a regular basis. So what you do is like times 10.
Yeah, I think. So I think when I came out a little bit later, like 26 or something, and I was a little chubby, and I think I was looking for a way to lose weight, and so I was living in Florida at the time, and cycling was a really big thing in the community, and and I realized I was relatively good at it, and I I was able to drop weight pretty quick. So it became like an addictive way to like get my fitness, socially connect, and then lose weight, and then
Some good
um,
genes then.
yeah. And so I felt good about myself doing that, and then that sort of pivoted into triathlon over time. And I think one of the things I realized was a lot of my friends who were the better athletes were maybe the better athletes in school and stuff were really good at short distance.
Hmm.
But none of our sports in high school and stuff test you in a long distance. And in cycling, I started to see, oh wow, I'm pretty good at 2, 3, 5 hour kind of rides. I
I
was
mean,
sort of
you do like 100-mile cycling, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's impressive.
yeah. So that I started to see that I had another either gear or another ability to kind of hang longer, um, and and I liked it. So
What does preparation for one of those look like?
it's
I mean,
just a
because
lot.
I've got to imagine there's that endurance component. There's always like a nutrition component that goes along with that. To me, that makes sense mentally, but having never really talked to anyone that's gone through that, what does that look like preparation wise?
I think to do it right, you need a couple years of like just kind of consistent. Now, most people don't do that. They sign up and give themselves 3, 6 months. But I think if you really want to do it right, it's just compounding. And for me, it's most days I'm doing an hour at least, and then on the weekends, Saturday and Sunday are longer workouts. Um, but then you have to do that for years to kind of like build the system up. And so,
Never
because
skipped
they're,
leg day, right?
well, yeah, that it's now that I'm getting older, I have to do more weights, but it's definitely takes a while to get your system ready for that.
So is that like high calories, low carbs? What's the balance there? Have you figured that, or are you just like I just know to stay away from this type of food and then focus on this type of food, and then that does it, whether it's calories or carbs or whatever.
Yeah, so in endurance, long distance stuff, it's all carbs, and the cool thing about longer distance stuff is your if you eat a lot of carbs, then your body needs fat also, and it chews the fat off of you. So
Okay, bonus.
if you eat a high carb diet when you're doing long distance, it gives you the energy and the fuel. And then for me, I just burn fat like crazy when I'm doing those kind of longer, what we call zone 2 workouts. and yeah, so a lot of carbs.
So I think the max I've ever done, because I do like going on bike rides on the weekend. I think the max I've ever done is maybe 20 miles.
Yeah.
And then I'm gassed, right? I'm like, oof, it's like that was the limit. Now, I live in Phoenix. So by the time I get to 20 miles being comfortable, summer's here and I can't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
And then when summer's over, it's like, okay, now I got to get back on the bike. And it's like, and that's what I don't like about living out here. You cannot do anything during the summer. So whatever you've accustomed to do, and I don't like cycling indoors. To me,
Right.
that's not therapeutic, which is what I get out of cycling. So I don't know, maybe my own
Yeah.
struggle to work on.
Yeah, I bike inside a lot and watch Star Wars movies when I'm biking. I watch just a lot of different movies and shows, but it's that's also part of like the mental conditioning. I think that's important. Um,
To disconnect. Maybe I'll give it another try. I mean, we do have a Peloton
yeah.
downstairs in my husband's office, so maybe I'll try that again because I really do want to be more active. I've become a lot more sedentary since I started doing this podcast. Go figure. All right, so you've been to quite a few places. What is your favorite? We're talking about the difference between New York. What is it, Lake Placid that you've been to? A couple different countries where you've done cycling. What's your favorite spot and why?
um, I don't know. Italy's pretty amazing, I would say, and I've only been once, but I need to go back.
Where in Italy were you?
I was in mostly the Tuscany region.
Oh well, I mean,
Yeah,
geez.
I'm pretty sure that's where I'm gonna be. I'm gonna be resurrected after I die. Like it was just so beautiful. But I don't know. I think I love Europe. Like in general, I just love the vibe of like Paris and um, I think I want to do more in like I've been to Ireland and England, but I want to spend some more time in London. Um, and I just think it's a different mindset than the US, so I like that about it. Um,
It's the people and the culture and the
yeah,
food.
I just went to Singapore a couple years ago. That was amazing.
I saw, yeah.
And that I would like I want to do more Asia trips, but I would say I love upstate New York. That's sort of where I grew up, and the mountains and the waterways and lakes. I think is beautiful. And then
Well,
I
you've been out
love.
here in Sedona, right?
Yep, I love Sedona. Or I've been there for a lot of work conferences, and I like
Mm.
Sedona. Um, and then but Manhattan's my energy. Like Manhattan's my um I need both. I need like the mountains and Manhattan. I couldn't do just one or the other. And and when I do go away, I appreciate those other areas, but I also appreciate coming back home and just, I don't know. It's the edge. It's the energy of New York is just awesome.
You're a New Yorker. You're in the blood. I get it. I
Yes.
hear that a lot. I've visited. I've never lived in New York, so I don't know what that is, but I enjoy the energy of being in New York. Maybe because I'm a tourist. I mean, that may have a lot to do with it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a love hate to it. Some days I don't love everybody just moving so fast, but there's whenever I go away for too long, I have to get back.
So when you travel outside of New York, do you take your bike with you?
A lot of times, yeah.
Even when you go, like when you went to Italy, you take your bike with you, right?
Um,
I mean,
I
can you
didn't
do
to
that or
Italy,
what?
but I do it a lot. I've done a lot of races in Europe, and yeah, I have these plastic boxes. You kind of take it a little bit apart, but not too much, and then um, with like the big airlines like Delta and stuff, they accommodate that. So
So what do you do when you can't take your bike? Do you have to go early and rent a bike that is a high performance bike? I'm assuming, and then like try that out and see if it jives with you.
yeah, it's a process, but I um, most of the good cycling areas have really good bike shops that do that, and they it's pretty nerdy, but like you can send them your bike fit numbers, and they'll, ahead of time, and they'll get the whole bike set up for you.
Oh, isn't that interesting? I wouldn't have thought about that.
Yeah. So, and they love when somebody from out of town comes in and rents a bike, because then you just are like, hey, where should I go? And sometimes they'll tell you the routes, but then sometimes they'll be like, hey, I'm going tomorrow up to blah blah blah, and do you want to come? And so that's always an added bonus of renting a bike.
All right, so tell me about how you met your number one fan, Patrick. How did that all come together?
We met online in White Plains, New York.
He's a New Yorker as well.
He's from Montreal originally.
Okay.
And he did his PhD in Toronto, and then he got his first big job in New York. And so I gobbled him up as soon as he moved into town. And then that was like 8 years ago. So
Kudos.
time flies. But and then we moved into the city together. COVID hit. We moved to Connecticut for a bit, and then we moved back. So, and then
did you guys move as a result of COVID, or was it just serendipitous?
It was a little bit serendipitous. I had we had a water break in our condo in Manhattan, and I had a condo in Connecticut that I was renting to someone else, and the water break happened and the person left the condo, so we moved there, and we were like, this is just 6 months, and then COVID hit, and then we were like, okay, let's stay out.
6 years later, like the SpongeBob.
Yeah. And I think in hindsight, I think we should have moved in a little quicker, but it's all good.
Wow, so has it been a total of 8 years? How long? How many years out of those 8 years are you guys married?
We're married. We got married 3 years ago.
Okay.
And then we really, I think we would have been married earlier if COVID didn't hit. Like, I think that sort of slowed some of our plans down. And then, but we've always, it was that sort of love at first sight relationship where we just were each other's people. And then we, right after getting married, we really started down the surrogacy path. And so that became more and more part of our future.
Now, was that an initial conversation when you guys met? Hey, how are you? Here are my thoughts on future plans. If we're jiving, then great. If not, then
I think subconsciously I stopped dating guys who said I don't want kids at all.
Okay.
And so it wasn't like 100% I need kids, but
You wanted the option.
I wanted the option. And then Patrick wants like 4 kids. I was like, I just want 1. So
meet in the middle.
Yeah. So now our plan is we have a daughter, and our plan is to have a son, and then hopefully he'll get over the thought of 4. But yeah, that's
So who's the strategist out of you guys to say, okay, let's map out what the potential options are for an LGBTQ couple to expand our family?
He's more of the planner, but I'm the bigger picture action person, and also being in finance was important, especially with planning this out. So I think I'm the one who like pushed him over the ledge a little bit, like, hey, we got to go now. I'm also 6 years older, so I felt like a little bit more pressure. He is definitely the one that's like setting up daycare and like getting all the health insurance right, and like,
so this is a good balance then.
Yeah. So I'm the action, like, let's go, and he's like, but we got to pay the taxes, and I'm like, Yeah, okay,
Well,
let's
you
pay
don't
the tax.
really have to pay the tax. No, I'm just all right. So how did this all really start? Where did you for those that are listening, right? The one of the general goals of the podcast is one to understand who we were before we became dads, right? So there's a component of this that's like how we became the men that we are today, which we'll get into a little bit later. But it is also to really try to understand how do people start this process. Some people don't know where to start. Like, where'd you go? What'd you find out? What was like, don't do that or try a different way. Granted, what works for you doesn't necessarily mean will work for someone else, but at least they'll have some sort of a starting anchor to say, yeah, it's okay to fumble the ball at some point and get up and start somewhere else. Maybe surrogacy is not their path, right?
Yeah.
Maybe IVF is part of the puzzle. Maybe adoption is the right course. How do you look at all three of those components in this world? Because it's not just limited to the United States, right? There's a financial toll that
Yeah.
needs to be paid. There's that tax that we were referencing, right? And it's really how much can you afford, when can you afford it, and should you afford it? So
Yeah.
how did you guys start?
Yeah, I think we were really open to a couple different paths. I think at the initial start, we were like, oh, maybe adoption would be um, the right path for us. We we quickly kind of learned that how much the adoption system in the U.S. has been changing and how much the countries around the U.S. have been shutting off gay adoption, which has made the adoption world just much more difficult. It's one statistic I heard, which I'm not sure if it's right, but that for every child that's up for adoption, there's 100 parents fighting for that kid. And so it's a really competitive landscape. And we had a gay couple friend of ours who were going through adoption and had a kid for 11 days from a state where there's a 30-day look back period. And
Oh boy.
the mom grabbed the child back. And I just remember hearing that and talking to them and being like, I don't think I can't do that. Like I can't go through that. And so I think for us, that path, after learning more about what people were going through, became okay. That's, I think, less of an option for us. Um, and and interestingly enough, in the area that we're in, New York State has had bad surrogacy laws for a long time, and so everybody
Like
in
what do you remember? Do you remember like one or two,
I don't
maybe
remember.
paraphrased?
Yeah, I don't remember. I just think it was like old laws that they needed to change in the system to like update to like the new surrogacy, IVF type situations, especially for same sex couples. And I don't think it was them trying to be evil or whatever. It was just not getting around to changing the laws. So everybody in Manhattan that was doing it was going to Connecticut to do it. So all of the clinics, like the surrogacy clinics and IVF facilities and stuff, are all in Connecticut. And they're like the best ones in the area are in Connecticut. So once we started looking around, we realized, wow, they're all around us in Connecticut. And so
Yeah, that worked out.
yeah, our fertility clinic was 5 miles away. Our surrogacy group that found us, our surrogate, was 10 miles away and run by a gay lawyer, and she was great. And so, like, I think that helped us kind of move the ball ahead, as they were just in our backyard and they were excited about helping us. And the one thing, and I'm a financial advisor, financial planner, but the money is incredible, how much it costs, but it's
Yeah, it is.
it's very spread out. So it's a little bit, it's kind of like you take one step and you're like, I don't know if I'm going to do this whole thing, but you write the check and you take that one step, and then you have to come up with another check down the road. And so they kind of like get you in, and then you get on this treadmill, which you don't want to stop, but it just,
Well, it's almost like you can't stop, right? Because I mean, the start toll it's a big number, so it's like you better know that you want to get on this bus. And I think one of the, I think you said it well. It's not all up front. You know, if that price tag is, let's say, $150,000, it's not pay that today.
Yeah.
You get to decide what the milestones are, but they are big numbers regardless. I mean, you're not paying
Yeah.
$2 here and there. They are big numbers. You need to be prepared for whatever those steps are, because it's a journey.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're, it's been interesting learning about, um, I'm in a, I'm with a group that's a financial firm that's much more independent. So we don't have a lot of the benefits, but, um, I heard that JP Morgan offers 75,000 for their employees. Patrick in his firm got offered, a check that wasn't that big, but it was helpful. And so I think there's more big companies that are stepping up and saying, okay, you know, if this is how much it costs for a straight couple to have a kid, like we should do the same for a same-sex couple. And
Unfortunately, what I do see is, because of the political games being played today, a lot of that stuff is being rolled back or put on pause, which is so unfortunate.
yeah,
It's I don't completely understand. I know where it's coming from, and I'm hoping
you
in
know,
a
and
few years some of that will change.
yeah, I hope so too. And the other thing I have thought about a little bit is, just because I'm a finance nerd, but you can't deduct any of these costs. Like you can't write it off. Um, and if you were a business owner and you bought a piece of equipment for 50 grand, you could write that off and you could
Mhm.
deduct it. And, you know, we're putting out all this money and you're adding a person to the economy, which is going to add all of this value in the future. You would think that, which they can't get anything done in government, but you would think that there would be a lot of movement to be like, let's make this easier for people to have kids. If they want to have kids, like, let's make it easier. But
Well, can we find a category that says we've created our own employee that will be available in 18 years, so we need to write this off?
yeah, exactly.
That's not the right way to look at this. All right, so how long did it take you from research to uh first payment? Um
Probably it's probably like, I should do the math on, or the numbers on this, but I
you
think,
don't need to be accurate. This is really
yeah,
just
I would
generalization,
say
really.
2.5 years. And maybe it's two years. And I know that we were told at the start of finding our surrogate that it would be a year and a half because they were backed up post COVID. But that only ended up being 9 months. So we found somebody faster,
Okay.
um, which kind of freaked us out. It was almost like, I think, what a straight couple feels when they get, you know, they get pregnant, and we were just like, oh, this is go time. We're gonna have our surrogate and go. And then we were very fortunate that our first embryo transfer resulted in our daughter.
Look
So
at that. You guys hit a couple gold zones, right?
yeah, it is really, it would be really disheartening. I'm sure lots of people have done this where they go 2, 3, 4 times. And,
Mhm.
I think that would be hard on me. So, yeah.
So finding the surrogate, what was that process for you guys, right? Because we hear a lot about it's being called dating, right, for your surrogate, right? You sit down across from them, or sometimes it's virtual. In a lot of circumstances, they don't really get that component also. So that, I mean, there's so many variations of how to do this dance. So what was that for you guys?
Yeah, it did feel like dating. And I would say that we had a couple that we didn't go with, and they felt like, you know, like if you were on a date and the person really liked you too much and they were like trying too hard,
Oh,
it was like, oh, like it was just, and then our surrogate, she was so sweet and just really chill. Like there was no sort of push. It was just natural, and very down to earth, very, uh, just I would also say I just felt like she was in a low stress kind of like environment. And so I think that's exactly how she was in pregnancy, was very just kind of in rural America, low stress, and our communication style was great. It wasn't too much, too little. So I think we found the right person.
So let me ask you this. Obviously, the goal is to find a surrogate as quickly as possible, right? Because the mechanics of getting to the end requires that step. When you have an opportunity to do the dating and you decide this is not a match, in my head, right, I'm thinking now we've added more months to our journey because we've decided that this person is not a match. For you, what would be a disqualifier? Like in my head, I'm thinking we finally connected with someone and they're interested. Let's just go with it because
Yeah.
this is temporary, if you will.
Yeah, I think that is probably where my head went, is like, let's just go. I think so the way it works is you're sort of put in a line
Mm-hmm.
at our surrogacy kind of clinic. And once you move up the step, if you say no to somebody, you don't move to the back of the line. So you're still at the top of the line. So, and they made us feel very comfortable that if we say no, we'll get somebody quick for you again.
Okay.
And so I didn't feel pressure from them to say yes. But when they did find our surrogate, they also were like, we think you guys are going to really like her. And so they are also kind of matching behind the scenes. And I think it's a little bit, you don't break up with them directly, like the surrogacy group breaks up with them. So that's a little bit nice. Like you're not,
They
and
didn't like you.
yeah, but
on to the next.
but I also think some of it was, I remember one couple that we probably would have went with, but they were in a different state that added a couple more legal steps. And so that was an easier one to say no to just because of that.
Oh, that's interesting. I wouldn't have thought about that.
Yep. Actually, our state that we went through was Georgia, and there was an extra legal step there. But if you remember this, they just had some issues with, I guess in Georgia, they think that an embryo now is a human being, and you can't get rid of embryos, or there's a legal issue there. And so we were
Is
kind
this
of
around abortion?
yes.
Yeah.
And so when that happened, we were sort of in the mix of doing this, and that left some legal questions for us. But we were kind of told that we would be okay, and it's a non-issue. And but yeah, it's definitely a thing to think through which state, and some states do add extra cost.
Wow. I mean, all the moving pieces. It's crazy, and it's no wonder it takes so long. But it is what it is. Okay, so holding your kid in your hands, in your arms for the first time, what's that like? It's I want to say, I tell people all the time, it's like becoming a dad overnight, but it's really, for LGBTQ couples, it's like the journey was not 9 months, it was 3 years.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, it was almost just like shock, like
Like, what
it,
do I do now?
yeah, that for sure. But just like yeah, I think women and straight couples have the blessing of like seeing their wife like have the baby or get bigger and bigger, and so the reality is hitting them quicker. For us, it was definitely a little bit more of like, oh wow, and but we had a really good pregnancy, and she was almost 10 pounds, so very healthy, very like. So I think we were just very grateful that everything was smooth, and we were out of the hospital in 25 hours. So it was almost like, I guess the one feeling I was having is like, when is the bad thing going to happen? Like,
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like everything just went so smoothly. Like, what's gonna happen? And so,
Because almost like you want to get it out of the way, right? Let's
y-
drop that shoe, fix it, and then I can rest.
yeah. But um, and then I think I just really, I think a part of me came out that was just the caregiver part that I knew was somewhat there, but it became very present or relevant that, you know, it rose to the surface that I, have this caregiver part of me. And, you know, I just naturally am, I'll tell you, going through the holidays, this is where it came up for me. When we were at parties and Patrick would be with her in the other side of the room, or we would give them to somebody we trust, give her to somebody we trust. I was still heightened alert, heightened like awareness, like almost uncomfortable at times, even though I really trusted the person and felt everything was safe. Like this nurture caregiver part of me came out. So that's been
It's
interesting.
almost like you can hear through the crowd, like every giggle that almost sounds like a cry. You're like, what was that? What was that?
Yeah.
I always say, because I did this once upon a time. We were in a crowd and I was looking for my mom. Obviously, it's a crowd with a whole bunch of people, and 90% of everybody's there. Their name is mom too.
Yeah.
But the moment you say mom, it's like only your mom turns around.
Right.
And that's like the weirdest thing ever.
Yeah. And yeah, I think that's real.
So, okay, so is surrogate still in your life on purpose or not on purpose?
Yeah, she is. Again, our communication style is, I think, perfect. Not too much, not too little. Like, but you know, definitely like through the holidays, texting pictures, and I couldn't imagine going through that, you know, Georgia or Atlanta where she's close to without stopping in and saying hi or like, um, and so I think she'll be part of our world um, and yeah, but I think we struck the right balance. I wouldn't want somebody that was too like over the top and
Almost
so
feels like it's encroaching or kind of carving up your space a little bit. Yeah. So it sounds like she found the right balance to say, I'm over here when you need me.
yeah. Yeah, and I think I was very concerned with how she was feeling at the end and I feel like by the end of us leaving the hospital, I felt like we gave her a lot of time and room with her to like hopefully make it so she felt um, like it wasn't by forever and it's not, you know,
Right.
it was a nice kind of handoff.
Through your process and the states that you guys were interplaying with, was there much like adoption a look back period? Or is this like legally on upon birth, contractually, technically all
Yeah,
yours? Done.
yeah. It, all of the a lot of the work for surrogacy is all legal, like all legal paperwork and stuff. So there's so
Mm-hmm.
much that went into that. Half I understand and half I don't. Um, in the state of Georgia, we needed an extra document that basically said that she was ours.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so that was different than other states. And then um, it's been a little bit weird. We're told that it's no big deal, but on the birth certificate they don't have they only have uh, mother of the child and father of the child. And so
So you gotta
Patrick is
scratch it out.
yeah, and so we're actually getting that fixed now. It's changed um on a couple different things, but we have to get her um birth certificate in New York changed to that. And so
What
there's
is
a
the
couple,
importance of doing that?
I think there's what we've been told is it doesn't matter. I think we're worried about if there's something in the future where that becomes an issue.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, actually, I'll tell you, we just went to Canada and back, and the Border Patrol agent stopped for a second on that sort of document because we had to have it, and he was confused and thought because Patrick was in the mother space and it says he was born in Canada, he thought, oh, did you do surrogacy in Canada? And we were like, no, we did surrogacy in Georgia, and you could tell it threw him off for a second. So we just want clean, um, documents that all make sense. So we're cleaning that up now. But I would say that there's been probably years and years of people fighting different battles to make it so that we just have a couple hiccups. And but I would imagine 20 years ago this was really difficult, and you would have to really look at some states and say those are total no-go states.
I wish they would make it just universal across the board instead of all these states having these nuances that sometimes are nuisances, and then sometimes they're so small, but they're like stops,
Right.
which doesn't make much sense. We're getting there. I agree with you. There's been a lot of progress. So, I mean, us complaining about this is still valid, but there has been a lot of progress, and I'm eternally grateful for that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And
All
I
right. So
think
how old is the kid now?
so she's just 2 months.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Brand new. And she's giving us 4 hours in a row at night now. So that's good.
It sounds like that's getting better.
It's getting better. Yeah.
What was it before? Just
It's like,
every 30 minutes?
yeah, every 2 hours and then daycare kicks in February. So we got another 3 weeks, and then I think that'll be good.
So okay, so a couple of questions, and then we'll switch to something that I wanted to kind of focus on or ask here. But how do you sense that you are being a lot more intentional with your choice of daycare or where your child ends up going now, making sure that they are aware of your family dynamic, respectful of it, and maybe even supportive of it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think in Manhattan it's such a diverse area, and I think and we live in Hell's Kitchen, so we're like in the heart of the gay dad neighborhood. But
Oh, that's nice.
yeah, so there's no issue there. I think the thing that we just wanted was a place that just felt like kind people, kind caregivers, not too many kids. And I think we have it, but we would be quick to change if we didn't feel comfortable.
How
I
are
think
you deciding what these milestones are that are coming up really quickly? Obviously, she's 2, right? What is being leveraged to say we're thinking about daycare in a year? Is this the right time? Is it too soon? Is it too late?
I think for us, we were just thinking through daycare or having somebody in the condo here, and we both work from home enough that we were like, we want some separation. And we just, we didn't have any family right here that would kind of help out. So we knew we had to go that route. Um, and I think, the fear of daycare is that the kids will get sick a lot, I think, because they're around. But I've heard
you're gonna get sick a lot.
I'm going to get sick a lot. And so I think that'll be interesting to navigate. But a lot of the parents that I've been chatting with recently say that they feel that their kids really learn how to communicate so much faster being in daycare. And a couple of the schools around here have, which have different languages they teach the kids.
Mm-hmm.
So there's one.
Montessori.
Yeah. And there's one a block away from us that's a French school, and And so that might be part of what we do too, is change her to give her some different language experiences.
Oh, I
So
like that.
yeah,
That's ingenious. I think absolutely you should do that. I'm from Latin America, so I speak a few different languages, and I can't tell you the benefit of just being able to do that when you travel, to be able to engage with others and at least come across as someone who is trying to communicate and not requiring them to speak English to you. And I think those are
right.
the things that you only learn when you travel. A lot of people that don't leave the United States don't have to deal with that, and I think that's just a whole different layer that needs to be addressed, but that's a different podcast.
Yeah.
All right. So the reason I was asking that question, right, is because I think community is important. And I think now that we've become parents, we start to take stock in the kind of people that are around us, who we are introducing to our kids. Maybe that one friend that's on the fence, we flipped them to the other side now because it's like we don't have time for you now,
Yeah.
and your drama, right? How have you and Patrick kind of built or maintained? Maybe you already had it before you had a kid, right? A community that says this is what our family looks like. This is what same sex couple is a normal thing. So is straight couple, right? We have
Yeah.
both or whatever, and they have kids, and you're part of this family. How have you guys kind of done that?
I think we're still doing it, but we have very different friends in different demographics and age group. But I
Okay,
would
who has
say,
the cooler friends?
um,
No, don't answer
yeah, yeah.
that.
I think Patrick right now, he has all his CrossFit friends.
Fair
Um,
enough.
but um, I think we have a lot of friends that don't have kids.
Hmm.
And so some of them I think are like, what did you do? Like you're leaving like this nice spot. And then others are like, ooh, I can be auntie or uncle in this scenario and
Oh,
sort
those are
of
the keepers.
live through this experience with you. And so I think that's going to be fun. Um, and then I have a fair amount of colleagues and stuff that have had kids and maybe have grown kids. And um, I sort of feel like now I'm in the club a little bit. Like they're like letting me in a
You've
little bit.
arrived.
I've
Now we can
arrived.
share the stories with you now, and you're like, okay, I get it.
Yeah. So I think that's been fun to um, connect in a different way. And I think especially with some of the straight friends, I think they sometimes don't know, like they didn't know how to maybe fully relate. And now that we both have kids, it's sort of like a level setter. Like, okay,
Common ground.
we're in the
Yeah.
same thing. So that's cool.
No, that's awesome. I'm always impressed by how humans find connectivity where once upon a time maybe nothing existed. It just kind of brings them all closer. So I'm all down for that. And I'm hoping this podcast helps to do that as we continue to build a community of people that are like, yeah, I'm a dad now. I got it right the first time. No one says that. All right. So you as an individual, where do you get what do you think some of your characteristics of being a dad comes from? Did you pick up some of this from your dad, from your mom, from an uncle, from someone in your past that maybe you're starting to say, okay, wow, my dad used to do that, and look at me, I'm doing it now.
Yeah, I've been blessed with great parents. So I think um, a lot of the things that I'm seeing me as doing as a parent, it comes from them. Um, I also think just big families. So I'm the oldest of 18 grandkids, I think, on one side, and like 22 on the other side. So just a lot
Wow.
of family around that have had kids, and so it's not so foreign. And then um, I think a lot of my good friends over the years have been sort of powerful women in different roles that then had family and had to sort of pivot from, the powerful businesswoman to powerful businesswoman plus mom. And I
Okay, a
think
lot of Beyonces in your life. I get it.
yeah, and I think I'm stealing some of their way that they manage that and live through that too. So, um,
So what is
yeah.
one thing you can point at that is quintessential you that you're like, okay, I got that from dad or mom?
Um,
Dum dum dum. We
yeah,
don't do easy towards the end of
yeah,
the
I know.
podcast.
I would say my mom is the mom that if I if I committed a bad crime and went to jail, she would show up at the prison and be like, "I don't think he did it." And like love him no matter what. Like and I think that feel that too. Like she could do no wrong. Like I would be 100% have her back um and just give her love
You turn
so
her in though and support her from outside.
no, we would lie and
You guys are Bonnie and Clyde-ing it out. You're like, we're
yeah.
gone.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. I had that conversation with my kid all the time because he's always like, well, and what we say in this particular scenario and what we do might be different. I'm only going to speak for myself, right? If he committed a crime or something, someone came knocking at the door looking for him, I might delay. I might
Yeah,
delay
yeah.
a little bit. But what I tell him is I'm going to usher them through the door and show
Yeah.
them where you are. So try your best not to have that situation happen.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
He's
Yep.
special. All right, so Patrick, being the amazing partner that he is, how do you think he's taking to parenthood?
Patrick's going to be the perfect yin to that yang. So he is, he's going to be the tough dad. He's like
Got to at least
uh,
have one.
yeah, he's
Is he the disciplinarian?
he's
I mean, we're not there yet,
disciplinarian.
but at the same time.
He's like he'll be the Asian tiger mom, that dad, who's going to be like, you can do anything you want, but you have to get your doctorate first.
Oh, I love it.
And for me, I would be like, just do what you love. Like just follow, so
That
he's going
may
to be,
evolve. Let me just warn you.
yeah. So he's going to be tough and which is good because I would be too weak. But big heart, big, would do anything. But, and then I just think, we just think so differently about, opposites attract and he's going to be much more just, did you follow the plan? Did you, do this and this and this? And I'll be more like, hey, let's go to the park and and run around with the dog. And
So the reason I ask, right, a lot of couple that I've talked to are very much like you, right? They have the yin and the yang, which is amazing balance, right? Because sometimes you need to be able to tap out and tap somebody else in.
yeah,
And I think that lends itself well. Obviously, there are a lot of single dads out there that don't have the opportunity to do that. Hats off to them because that is quite the. It's not a burden. It's it takes a very strong character to be able to do both roles all the time.
yeah, yep, that would be hard.
So my question is, have you guys devised a strategy about how to bring in how Patrick sees the world, how you see the world, and find like a middle place to pour that into your young one?
I think so. I think a lot of this has come up in the last year, just talking through scenarios um, and, uh, little things come up where I think, what you hear from other parents is just communication is key. Like when it comes up, you have to communicate about it. Um, and so I don't think we've figured it all out, but I think, yeah, there's um, certain things that I think will be rubs in the future that we already know about that we'll have to just communicate through um, and And I think the world's changing so fast right now that it
Oh, tell me
also
about it.
kind
Jeez.
of makes you you have to just be more flexible, of like whatever the plan we think is going to be is probably going to change. And so let's just communicate through it.
In ways that we can't even fathom, right? Because everything that's happening just in the last year, it's like, wait a minute, what? How is that even possible?
I
So
know.
I am.
We've been joking lately that it's not that she's going to come out and say, hey, I'm gay. Like she's going to come out and say, hey, I'm dating my AI robot. And
Oh
we're
my
gonna get
God.
married, and now we're gonna be like, "Oh my God, you can't marry your AI robot." So,
My parents are so electronically bigoted.
yeah,
Or something like that. I don't
yeah.
know. All right. So, okay, last two questions here, and then I'll let you go. What scares you the most now that you're a dad?
I think one of the things that has come up for me is just, um, I think uh, I know there's no true balance, but I think I have this kind of energy to perform at work now at a higher level, to like do all the things and make the money and be a provider, but then to not have that energy take me away from her too much. So to figure out that balance, um, and especially in the first 5 years, 10 years, where there's that time is just, you don't get it back.
So, would it be fair to say that you're really trying to be present?
Yes.
That's where your focus is, trying to make sure
Yeah.
that's a good balance. Okay, and I think that's awesome. I think that a lot of LGBTQ dads have an opportunity to be more intentional about how they want to exist in their new family dynamic. And it largely has to do with what they've experienced in the past, the things that they love and they want to continue to push forward. And then some of the things that they're like, yeah, we can't do that anymore. And
Yeah.
I think that takes some sort of a high level of emotional intelligence to be able to do that. And not a lot of people are there or can get there early enough in their life. All right. Last question. What is the most fun, giggly thing your kid has done since you've had them? I keep wanting to say her. It is a girl? It's a girl, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, Mila. Well, she's not at the phase where she's like giggling too much or like connecting the full dots, but I don't know. The thing that comes up is just her spitting up on me a couple of times when it wasn't
What? You really
when
are a dad for that one.
yeah, when it wasn't the right time, but um no, I think I really love waking up in the middle of the night with her, and kind of the yawns and like the stretching and just all that little new human growing stuff that she does. I think is just so awesome.
They never stop growing and the price just goes up exponentially. So yeah, I mean, it costs a lot more than $150,000. So
Yeah,
there you go. That
yeah,
was just baseline.
yeah,
Well, listen, Cody, this was fun. I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. I think, again, there are so many opportunities for us to be more visible and be more present, and representation matters. And I think the more people we talk to on these type of podcasts, the better. There are so
yeah,
many parenting podcasts out there, right? How to parent your kid, different milestones, what you should look out for. But there aren't a lot that focus on a dad perspective. And I think that is what really builds the foundation for the kind of kid that we will have in the future. We're not
yeah,
trying to tell them who to be, but they do need to have a foundation, right? And that starts
yeah,
with us. So I appreciate you
yeah. I
sharing
appreciate
that
you.
with us,
Thank you.
and much luck and blessings. I'm going to follow you guys. I want to see where this goes. So
Yeah, absolutely.
and say hi to
Follow away.
Patrick for me, please
I
do.
will.
All right, thank you, sir.
Do it, do it.